Hey everyone, welcome back to the Muse. My name is Risa.
I'm Gabby.
And I'm Liza.
Awesome, ladies. Well, welcome back.
Yes.
So good to see you again. Y'all look so beautiful.
Thank you. So do you.
Thank
I
you.
know.
Thank you. Thank you. Ask me next time when I get like my hair done, okay? Because I'm still a little behind. Last weekend I went to the flea market with my family, which is nice because you know with the way things have been lately, I don't get to see my family as often as I want to.
Yeah.
But my parents are doing this fun thing now. They're at that age where they're like, every weekend we go antiquing, you know?
So
do you guys want to come with us? So my husband and I went antiquing, which was really fun. We went to a bunch of antique stores that I've never been to before, out in DeLand, which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's
yeah,
nice.
there's some really cool places out there. A flea market that I bought the best pickles at because I'm a huge pickle fan. So yeah, I had an awesome weekend. What did you do, Gabby?
Me, actually, I know I talked about this before, but I love blue gardens. So, because I have a thing for flowers, but they actually do a movie in the park.
Oh.
It is $6. You can bring all of your food. They allow you to bring wine. And you just sit there and wait and watch a movie. And it is just so much fun. You know, I think I had a little bit too much fun because I can't remember the movie.
Oh my gosh, that's great.
But it's great. It's cheap. It's easy. It's $6 per adult, and it's free for kids under 12. So it's a really good deal for a night out.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yes.
Really fun.
That does sound
It is.
really fun. Yeah, I love that. What about you?
Well, I actually work with Butterfly Dreams and Metamorphosis.
Oh.
It's a kids party, an adult, like grown-up party, and by adult I don't mean like risque.
Okay.
type
Not that
things.
kind of adult.
Not yet. No. Like they do like painting parties, and like you can bring your friends and add some wine, and like because of COVID, they make sure that everything is like super safe. So it's really awesome. My good friend Jeanette actually started the company,
Nice.
and they do things for little kids. So I did a little kid party, and I got to host it. And I used to work with little kids at my gym. It was a fitness children's center.
Yeah.
So it was something really fun that we got to do together.
Did
and
you
I
get to
really
like dress
liked
up or anything like that?
it. So I do a mermaid for them.
Of course you
yes.
did.
Yeah.
Like your mermaid.
I have a mermaid tail. I actually really love it, and I'm in a couple of commercials at in Pensacola in my mermaid tail, showcasing a seafood joint in Pensacola. So yeah, it's really fun. But yeah, Butterfly Dreams and Metamorphosis is really cool if you want to do something at home and you don't have to take care of anything. Like we've got it all under control. We bring everything there,
Nice.
do the setup, the takedown. So it's
that's awesome.
All
yeah,
right, mermaid
it's really
birthday
fun.
party.
Yeah, mermaid birthday party.
Exactly. Something fun to do.
Awesome.
Speaking of things to do,
Yes.
I actually have a couple things to do in April. There's a Ram Nationals. The Ram Nationals, you can go to what is the website? rncfr.com for ticket info. Now, a little bit about that because I had no idea what that was.
What is that?
It's like this big championship for cowboys and cowgirls in Osceola Heritage Park.
Oh my gosh.
They compete for $1 million of cash and prizes.
Oh, cash and?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's pretty intense. I've never been to it, but I'm looking up a little bit more into it, so be inspired to look a little bit more of that stuff up.
That's really cool.
And also, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Hammered Lamb. Have you been there?
Yes.
Too many times.
Okay, Hammered Lamb is the bomb if you don't know anything about Hammered Lamb. They're in Ivanhoe Village Park, and there's a train track that runs behind them. And every time the train goes by, you get a free shot.
Yes.
So, duh, like that's like clearly go there. So Hammered Lamb also is like a big advocate for not-for-profits and local not-for-profits, national not-for-profits, like all over the place. So they're really cool in, they want to help the environment, so they don't do any plastics in their to-goes or foam in their to-goes to help with the environment, which I think is really awesome.
Yeah.
And they've got a little bit of everything for everyone in their pub. So go to hammeredlamb.com to look at their menu and see if that's right for you.
It's really, that's actually, anytime somebody comes to visit me, I have a lot of family in Texas and Nebraska, and anytime somebody comes to visit me, that's where I take them. You'd be like, this is, and it's not, you know, you think of Orlando, you think of the theme parks, but you gotta take them to the real Orlando, you know, and you take them to like Ivanhoe, like look at this beautiful lake, you're right next to downtown, oh, and here's a train, and now we're taking a shot, you know, like, it's just so much fun.
And their Bloody Mary bar.
And their Bloody
What's
Mary bar,
rated best in Orlando, by the way. So, yes.
And they do a lot of stuff with the Barber Fund, actually, which we talked about last week, and One Pulse Foundation, too, I believe. They do a lot of donations
They
for
have that
that.
on their website, thehammeredlamb.com.
It's awesome. So, yes, love it. That's so great. Now you make me want to go to Hammered Lamb.
I know, right?
I don't know what you guys are doing after this, but
That's the place to go.
awesome.
So, on this episode, we're going to talk about something that is very near and dear to me, and that is counseling awareness. This is something that's very important to me as someone who does go to therapy myself. A lot of people don't really do therapy because of the stigma of it. You know, people think that maybe they're crazy or like they've got real mental problems, but to be honest, people really need to indulge themselves in going to therapy. But the problem about that is a lot of people don't know how to find the resources. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to do. So I have a couple of fabulous resources for you and for you ladies when you need to find out how to get those counseling resources. So one thing that's come out because of COVID is therapy apps. That's been a huge thing where you do teletherapy, where you will get onto your app, you'll log in, and you will talk to someone online, or you will talk to them via the computer. A couple of apps that are very helpful are BetterHelp and Simple Practice, are a couple of those that I have looked up, and they have gotten great reviews. I know a couple of people who have used the teletherapy and it works for them. You can go as often as you like. You know, some people think that when you start therapy, you have to go every week. That is completely untrue. You can do therapy once a month, or once every other week, or even once every 3 months, just as an emotional tune-up is what I like to call it. You can also use websites. I know everybody's online, they're either online shopping. Nobody thinks to go, let me go online and invest in my emotional health. So the one that I enjoy and I tell everybody about is psychologytoday.com. You can go on there, put in your zip code, and they will show you every therapist within 10 to 20 miles of your zip code.
Wow.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. No one thought of that. And maybe you're looking for someone who specializes in cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT. And you put that in there and they will show you all of the therapists in your area that specialize just in that particular type of therapy. And I just think that's amazing. And it's helpful to do it that way, or you can do it the old school way. The way that I found out about my therapist was legitimately word of mouth. Because this was what, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, it wasn't as prevalent as it is now. So here I am talking to someone going, hey man, do you like, do you talk to somebody like, I need help. I legitimately need help. So then it's like a secret. Like, I'm gonna pass you this card. And that's how you would get it that way. But now with these resources of teletherapy and going online, it is not hard to find the therapist that works perfectly for you.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
And I've done BetterHelp before, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a Groupon. And I also, it was really good for me because I was going to in-person therapy, but it was a little more expensive for me to go week after week. And I saw a Groupon, and I needed to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And it did make it extremely convenient because I could just email them at my own convenience, and then sometimes they were available to talk right away. sometimes I would wait and get an email back, and then maybe a day or two would go by and they would slight nudge, hey, how you doing? You know, if I didn't email back again. So it actually helped to make the experience very personalized, you know, and if you don't, I believe that they said if you didn't match with whoever you were already talking to, you could request to talk to somebody new, which was really helpful. So, you know, because you always think you might be stuck with a therapist, but that's not always the case as well.
Yeah, a lot of people think that when they meet their first person, that's the person. Finding your therapist is like finding the perfect pair of shoes. You have to find the person that fits you.
Right.
Don't just stick with that one person just because, oh, they were the first person I matched with. No, this is not Tinder for therapy. You can find someone else.
Just keep swiping
Just
until
keep
you find
swiping
somebody
until you
like-
find the right therapist for you. Exactly.
I love that. That's so important. And I do think it's really important to give people options as well. I think a lot of time people feel like they just can't afford to go to therapy.
Yeah.
You know, but there are so many options and again, just simple Google searching and finding places that do offer like sliding scales and certain places that do offer even sometimes free therapy, you know, super important. That's awesome. I love that. I'm pro therapy. So yeah. And one of the reasons why I am so pro therapy, and this month in particular, if you were not aware, is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. And I am a sexual abuse survivor. And so therapy has been a huge tool for me. When I was a little kid, I was forced into therapy.
Yeah.
And so I think the majority of my life, I kind of went against it because I was like, I don't want to talk about the things that happened. But as I've grown older, I've become stronger to be able to sit here and say, hey, this happened to me and I'm okay talking about it. Of course, in my own time and my own space, which is kind of what I want to talk about a little bit today. So Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and there's a huge resource. You can go to National Sexual Violence Resource Center. I know that's a lot of words, but it is nsvrc.org. This is where I got the majority of my information, in addition to my own, you know, personal experience, of course, that I'm sharing with everybody. But it does give you a lot of resources on how to find therapy and counselors in the area, and how to find support groups if you have been either, you know, sexually violated or abused in the past, or if you even think that you might be going through something that you're not aware of. Because I think a big part of you know, recognizing the sexual assault is sometimes you don't recognize it.
You don't.
Sometimes you don't recognize it until it's happened. And sometimes you recognize it happening to other people, and how do you help them? How do you help them? And the biggest thing is, you know, creating a safe space for people to say, hey, I am here to talk to you without judgment, without, you know, seeing the other person's side. Just let the person talk and be open, because a lot of times that's really what people need, is they just need to get it off their chest, because it's a hard thing to talk about. We have been told, especially, you know, women, that, you know, things happen to you, you need to keep it to yourself. And, you know, I'm here to say that, you know, it's taken me many, many years, but I'm ready to break those barriers and walls down, because we need to be open to listening to other women. And unfortunately, it does happen to a lot of men and non-binary people as well. So it's really important to kind of understand that the times are changing as well. One of the things I didn't realize until I was reading this website was how much online bullying happens, and that can also lead into online sexual advances. You know, if you're talking to somebody online, having a normal conversation, and it leads into a sexual area that you're not comfortable with, it is okay to say, no, I'm moving on from this conversation. You know, block the person even. And if you feel to the point where, hey, you're friends with that, let's say Gabby's friends with the same person, it's okay to say, hey, you know what, this person did this, and I just want you to be aware of it, because you never know, it could be happening to Gabby too, and maybe she just hasn't said anything, because a lot of times that's how abuse happens, is the abusers make the victim feel as if they cannot talk to anybody or go anywhere. So creating a safe space for people, and really just having healthy communication, you know, and asking for consent. That's one of the biggest things. Is, you know, I'll tell you just a super quick story. I found out somebody at my workplace was being harassed, and I, you know, the first thing she said was, please don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
And that was really hard for me because then where do you go from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that you can really do at that point is just be encouraging and positive and saying, whenever you are ready,
Yep.
I am ready to talk to somebody with you. You know, being sometimes that second person really helps a lot.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk to your workplace environment, and definitely I'm a huge advocate of bringing somebody with you. You know, if something's happening to you and you don't want to talk to your boss, go to the boss above them, but always have a friend with you. The buddy system.
Yeah.
I'm huge about that buddy system, you know. Always be there for your fellow friend and your person. And honestly, like, you know, the biggest thing about it is to be open and listening to other people and when they go through that. And suggesting counseling.
Yes.
It's okay. You know, one of the great things about nsvrc.org is because of how crazy last year was and how things are still moving forward, they started doing online forums.
Nice.
So if you couldn't get together to go through, you know, to sit down and just, you know, not everybody's ready to sit down and talk about sexual abuse and violence.
Yeah.
But there are safe spaces that you can go to and talk about it, you know, as survivors. Well, they've also opened up online forums as well. So sometimes if you just need to get online and say, hey, I'm feeling something today, and talk to a group of people in an online chat room, that's a wonderful tool to use as well. So it kind of goes back to the online counseling thing, you know, going hand in hand, which is kind of why I think it was really important for me to talk to everybody about that today, because, you know, I want everybody to know that, you know, you're not alone and we're here for you. And there's all these wonderful resources out there. And, you know, if you have questions, put it in the chat, you know.
Yeah.
I will be happy to, you know, chat back and say, here's some great places that I like to go and some resources and tools. And books, honestly, books have been a huge help for me, a huge friend to getting over some of this stuff that, you know, because unfortunately, you know, when things happen, it's something that's going to live with you, but learning how to live with it. And how to, you know, grow from it, you know, and how to, and my mission is always just, I want to help other people because, you know, it's a hard thing to do and a hard thing to talk about. But again, you know, I would say the biggest thing is one of the lovely things that I've noticed is being online for each other, even if it's just like a late night, like, hey, call me in the morning, let's video chat. You know, let's even just go outside and take a walk, and sometimes not talking about it is important because letting the other person talk about it on their own time is huge. Yeah. Being a safe space for one another, because, you know, that's what we're here for. So, all right. So if you guys have any questions or need any resources, please feel free to drop it below. And with that, we're going to take a break and come right back in just a few minutes. Back to the Muse. And guess what? It's time for Herstory 101.
Yeah, we got a little ditty with that one. Look at that.
That's right.
Come on, get a little ditty.
It's time. All right. So this is definitely one of my favorite parts to talk about. I loved hearing so much history about Josephine Baker last week. And I wanted to choose somebody. For myself, I decided when we talked about these historical women, I really wanted to focus on something that was kind of close to my own background as well, because I think that it's become more important as I get older to really learn a little bit more about my own history, my own background, my own ancestors. So in that case, I decided I wanted to do a Native American woman, but I didn't want to pick the women that we all know about.
Yes.
That we all learned about in school. And so I had to bypass, I'm sorry, Pocahontas, I'm sorry, Sacagawea. I had to bypass. I really wanted to learn something else, something different, right? So I stumbled across Susan LaFleche. who is the first nationally recognized Native American female doctor.
Ooh,
Exciting.
Yeah, so, and I actually listen to, I love to give sources, but I listen to lots of different podcasts, actually, just a few here and there, plus reading stuff online. So I encourage you to do the same, because she's a super interesting woman. And she's got a very rich history, which spans about 50 years.
Yeah.
So just, jumping right into who Susan is. Susan was a member of the Omaha tribe, and she was born in the late 19th century. Her father was actually Chief Iron Eye. So the chief was actually a French Native American, and her mother also was both Native American and white. So I really identify with that because I am a huge mixed multicultural background, mostly Latinx, mostly Native American, and some white as well. So it was really cool to learn that she had such a mixed heritage, and she was very, very smart. From the get-go, she was a very intelligent daughter. I believe she had three older sisters, and she witnessed, when she was only 8 years old, a Native American woman passing away on her reservation because as much as they tried to get a doctor to come visit the village, no one would come. They kept saying they would come, and then they never did. And that sparked like a fire inside of her. And she decided at that point, I want to learn medicine. I want to help my people. She was incredible. She spoke 3 languages. She spoke her own native language. She spoke conversational French. She spoke English. She was a really driven woman. And when she was very young, she moved from Nebraska to New Jersey to go to school. It was when she was in school that and I did write this down because I want to make sure that I got this correct, okay? She met a woman named Alice Fletcher, and I believe she was an ethnographer, and she was sick, and so she was trying to teach Susan kind of how to help her, and like how to heal her. And she recognized right away that Susan had a natural talent for healing. And then she said, hey, you really should go to medical school, which was very hard, not just for women, but Native American women as well, of course. So there you've got women helping women, women telling women, encouraging women, hey, I see something in you, you should, go for this. And she fully supported her. So at that point, this Susan, she went to school and she was like, you know what? Guess what? 3 years of medical school, I'm going to finish it in 2.
Wow.
And I'm going to be valedictorian. So she was a powerhouse of a woman, okay?
She was a wild
okay? And then at that point, a lot of people were encouraging her to stay in New Jersey, but she said, no, I want to go back to my tribe in Omaha, and I want to help those people because that's where she saw the need. So that's when she went back there. She ended up marrying another Native American man, who she became Susan LaFlèche Picot, which is how you know her in history today. But from that point on, you're talking this woman, she would get up at 5 a.m, ride her horse around to different areas in the village, and not even get home until like after 10 o'clock at night. She was working from before sun up to sundown, like just working around the clock, helping people. And it was a different time back then because you're talking late 19th century. I believe I said that right. When things were changing, and you had a lot of Native Americans that were wary of Western ways and didn't want modern medicine. But you also had others that were, please come and help me because nobody else will. So she became sort of like a modern medicine woman in that sense because she was using her old practices and her new practices to help people. At some point, she actually had the very first privately funded hospital open, which is incredible for the time. And she had it in an area where both Native American and white people of the area could both come. And she was not that person that said, I'm only treating certain people. No, she was open to treating everyone. So can you imagine being a woman at that time, which is, very unlike anyway, they didn't even have the right to vote at this point. And she's over here, helping people. They actually had, what they had at the time was a modern surgical room, which they didn't have almost anywhere at that point as well. So she did that for, it was like 25 years, I believe, and she was raising 2 sons on top of it. In the middle of all of that, her husband became, sick and died of tuberculosis, which was further fueled by his alcoholism. So she became a lobbyist for prohibition at the time. So this woman was out there like, hey, trying to fight against alcohol because, there's a lot of traders bringing alcohol into the Native American camps to try to trade with them for things, for land. They would trade for even land. And she was out there saying, no, you cannot take my people's land. So she was an activist on top of being a doctor, a mother, a lobbyist, an activist, a modern healer. I mean, I could go on and on and on about this woman. Like, the more I learned about her, the more honestly engrossed I became in her life.
Yes.
Because I just couldn't believe in the short 50 years, because she ended up passing away with bone cancer at 50 years old, how much she accomplished. And how she's become a huge inspiration for many women, female doctors, and Native American doctors as well. And I believe her hospital now is a national memorial site as well. So yeah, if you're ever out, Nebraska, right? Which I'm like, wait, next time I go visit my sister, I am 100% going. And now I would have never known that even existed had I not decided to just pick somebody that wasn't your, the people you read about in the history books.
Yeah.
So we were talking about yesterday, like all this, her story that we never knew about. So I'm super excited to tell you guys about that, just especially with, all of the things that are happening in our world today.
Yes.
It's so important that we have doctors. And so, female doctors especially, and this is the inspiration right here. So yeah.
Sure.
With that, let's talk about some healthy stuff. Like
Yes.
Yay, health. Doctors, they keep you healthy. So that brings us over to our Femme Forum, which I'm going to be talking to you guys about healthy hacks and some quick cooks. So right now what I'd like to discuss with you all is that when you plan on doing a diet, don't call it a diet. Call it a lifestyle, because your diet is what you eat normally, right? So don't take out all of your bad stuff. You can have your bad stuff. It's moderation,
Yes.
We were just talking about that earlier. It's moderation. You can have your thing of chocolate. You can have your pizza, but don't eat the whole pizza. Which for me is an issue. I'm sure, you just said, I know. Like, for me, what I do is I actually will take like 3 or 4 slices or however many that you have set in your mind to have, and you put those out and you close the box and you put the box in the fridge.
Smart.
Just so it's out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
Because for me, if I don't see it, out of sight, out of mind, don't have to deal with it, right?
Yep.
There you go. That's really nice. And then also, the more colorful your diet, the better for you. So if your diet has like leafy greens and purples and reds, you're looking good, you got some good stuff going on in your diet. So bring in all of those colorful veggies, colorful fruits, add that into your diet. Try to take away some of those not so colorful foods, okay? Yeah. So, like I said, last episode, you are a goddess. Your body is a temple. So what we want to do with that temple, we want to have a very nice, strong foundation with that temple, right? So we want to feed our temple really good, healthy foods. So when you start your exercise journey, or if you decide to start an exercise journey, I'm not telling you to, but if you want to, you can, set something up that excites you. So like, what excites me? I know you were talking about dancing in your apartment. Listen, that's cardio.
Yes.
You just did cardio for the day, and that's fun.
Yep.
Sing into your toothbrush, sing into your hairbrush for 5 minutes. That's like what, 2 songs?
Yep.
You got it. You got your cardio for the day.
Yeah.
Love it. Keep it up. All right. Also, I don't know if you guys like coffee or anything. I know we were talking about some coffee.
Yes.
Put some cinnamon in your coffee, like little ground cinnamon. That's actually a really quick, healthy hack for you, because what that cinnamon does is it reduces the bad cholesterol in your body.
Ooh.
And cinnamon is a mood booster. So you get double the mood boosting with your coffee, because you got your caffeine and your cinnamon on top of that.
Oh,
So I mean,
yes.
who doesn't like the smell and taste of cinnamon? I mean,
Yes.
I love it, but you know, to each their own. Also, gum and dark chocolate can help reduce reduce the cortisol, which is the stress hormone.
Oh, the thing that swells you up.
Yes,
Oh.
yes. So if you get some sugar-free gum or some dark chocolate, have that on the side. That's great, and it helps with your metabolism.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's always really good if you're feeling a little peckish. Yeah, grab on some to that dark chocolate. Also, I found something. We were talking about you were a vegetarian, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I actually found a really neat meal that my mom made for me. And I'm going to tell you guys how to make it. It's really simple. I call it Hodgepodge Harvest.
The name alone
Because
is just like
honestly,
everything.
it's a hodgepodge harvest. So what you do is you'll take like your olive oil, put it in a pan, get some garlic in there. You're gonna put some yellow squash, zucchini, and onions. Saute that up, you know, and then you can have it just like that. Easy peasy. You can put some red pepper flakes in there if you like a little heat. And if you want to add some protein, you've got some beans. Put some beans in there. You can get those Rotel tomatoes with the Italian seasoning if you like that. Throw that in there, and there you go. And if you want to bulk it up even more, you can get the quinoa.
Yep.
Quinoa is really good, and brown rice. Put some brown rice in there. See, I told you, hodgepodge. Hodgepodge harvest. It's literally a little bit of everything. Kind of like a frittata, but without the egg. So also I was thinking about other things to do that would be a little quick tip. There are these really neat stabilizing balls. So if you work at home and you're sitting on a desk, these stabilizing balls, when you sit down, they actually help engage your core, which is really neat. So if you're sitting down for most of your day, get the stabilizing ball. Helps you out. And I think that might be all that I have. Oh, I actually have a really neat thing.
Okay.
Have you ever seen this? There's an app called Nudge Mail. No? Okay, so it's called The Nudge, I think, on the app, and then on the website it's called The Nudge Mail. And what this app does is it just says, ding, 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 time to work out. Did you work out today? Or if you don't want workout, again, totally up to you, whatever you want to put in there, you could put, pay my bills. Ding, 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 did you pay your bills?
Oh,
No, I didn't pay that bill. Thank you, Nudge app.
Love that.
And it's free. So that's really cool too, because I need little reminders.
Nudge.
I need a little nudge.
Yeah.
I need a little nudge. And like, if you have all of these different things going on in your brain, so many different jobs, so many places to be, kids to babysit, kids to take up, I don't know. You got all these different things. Kids! You got kids, your pets, all these things. Well, my brain, it's always, I have so many tabs open, and it's really nice to have a little reminder saying, hey, you gotta do this. Oh yeah, you're right. I got an adult. I have to adult today. That's the thing. But, so speaking of healthy things, healthy hacks, and quick cooks, one thing that I do outside of this is I actually, during COVID, signed up to be a personal trainer.
Oh, nice.
So I'm actually starting to specialize in sports medicine and therapy, and I have yet to open up my book, but it's gonna happen one of these days.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got like my website, and I'm starting to get there.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so I think I'm gonna call myself Mighty May. Is what it's
I
gonna
love
be.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you are
my
Mighty
middle
May.
name.
That's-
So
yeah.
what do you guys got going on?
Oh gosh, well, I should probably be working out a little more often. I did sign up for a whole month of Camp Gladiator, which I've done before.
Nice.
But I feel like you really have to, some people don't love that, kind of like, boot camp style working out.
Mhm.
I am that type of person. I've always been very, like, I love to be challenged. I used to play soccer a lot. I used to run a lot. So, like, somebody challenging me and saying, pick up this heavy thing and run down, and then do 10 jumping jacks and run back, that's actually super helpful for me. It's been hard, with being inside all the time. So they actually moved to a lot of virtual workouts.
Mhm.
So right now they're doing a whole month, and it's like, if you do your virtual workouts and you're not able to physically be there in person, or you just don't feel comfortable, being there physically in person, you can record yourself and then send it to your trainer, and then they'll mark you like you did it, like, and you were there. And so because I've been a little lazy, I'll be honest, like, my goal is to, like, do at least one every day this weekend. That way I could say, listen, I did it. I might have done it from my living room, but I did it.
Yes.
But I did it. And then the biggest thing is trying to get my husband to do it with me,
Yeah.
Which he's like, oh, he's that person. He doesn't want to do things in public because it's embarrassing, But I'm like, it's in the living room.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. No excuse.
No excuse.
No excuse.
And then the trade-off for that is that I will play a board game with him.
Oh,
There you go.
Give and take in that relationship. So yeah, I'll be
That's a great thing.
Moderation.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm getting sporty and getting nerdy this weekend. What about you?
Well, me, I'm trying to start doing meal prepping. That's the thing I've been trying to do, because when it comes to me trying to get this into some sort of shape, food is my downfall, because I love food.
Yeah.
So that's been a thing for me. I've been doing that, and also I've joined Muse. So that is where they teach you the psychology of how to eat better.
Yeah.
So I'm learning what's a green food, what's a yellow food, what's a red food, like pizza. Exactly.
The red food?
So, yes, that is a
It's
red
the sauce.
That makes sense.
It is true. It's the sauce. Yes. So it helps you, it teaches you the psychology of how to eat healthier. So I believe with that, and pairing with the meal prepping, because I'm already doing the exercise stuff. So it's like I know food is my challenge, and I know I'm gonna have a good time. Like you, I have to get my person to go, hey, listen, I need you to eat this for me, because I can't be the only fit person in the house.
That's right.
I can't be the only one. We have to do it together.
Yes.
So getting
buddy system.
Exactly. Yes.
Keep saying.
Buddy system.
Always need one.
Exactly. So that's what I've been up to.
For
so
sure.
hopefully it'll work out.
That's awesome. Well, I've had a wonderful time. I love that we talked a little bit about counseling, a little bit about sexual assault awareness, bringing it into, somebody we didn't know about, right into all of the healthy things. I mean, this is always wonderful talking to you, ladies. Thank you so much for being here with all of us. We hope you were inspired as well. And as you know, my name is Risa.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Liza.